Hi, it's Pat Gillis here. And the other day, a friend of mine told me a really sad story. Something happened with our Metro Zoo. Apparently, they have a giraffe there that has a problem with his feet. And they had this routine that they go through where they take him from the herd of other giraffes and they take him into a different section where they can do the work on his feet. And then they put him back. And they've been doing this for quite a while and everything's gone well. But apparently, a week or so ago, when they moved him into that other section to get his feet done, something happened. He panicked. He got his neck caught in the gate, apparently, and I guess given the conformation of giraffes, it proved to be a fatal injury, and he had to be euthanized. And I thought, gosh, what a shame. And I'll bet you all the people there are now kind of going over everything that happened and trying to figure out if there was a way that could have been avoided. And, you know, we do the same thing at the farm with horses. Like, there's always some ways that horses can get hurt. And so we're always trying to think of ways to prevent that from happening. For example, if you use a wheelbarrow that looks like this, you can pretty much have that in the aisle anywhere with the horses, and there's no way the horse can get hurt with that. But if you have one of those wheelbarrows that has the two handles like this one, what we had happen one time, I was leading a horse down the aisle. He was walking along nice as quiet as could be. I looked away for a moment as he was walking, and he stepped towards the wheelbarrow that had the wooden handles. He got one leg between, so there was one handle between his front legs. Something happened. He panicked when he realized that there was something in between his legs like that. When he tried to come away from it, he ended up falling. He fell into the wheelbarrow. He was scrambling around. I honestly thought he was going to break his leg, and there was absolutely nothing I could do to help him at that point because he was just flailing, and I couldn't even get the wheelbarrow out from underneath him because he was too heavy. So I just had to wait till he resolved that himself, which he did, thankfully. But ever since then, we have a protocol at my barn where anytime there's a wooden-handled wheelbarrow like that in the barn, we make sure that you either put a muck buck in it like this or a garbage can, something that will prevent a horse from ever doing what that horse did again. It had never occurred to me, really stupidly, that the horse could do something like that, and now it's a protocol. And it's funny because, you know, we'll have sometimes people here think that I'm overly cautious or I'm overly, I don't know, whatever, like that I'm always sort of looking for emergency situations that could possibly happen. But I'll bet you anything, that Metro Zoo is a good zoo. They have a good reputation for animal care, and I'll bet you there's a lot of people there sitting around right now trying to figure out what could they have done differently to prevent a tragedy like that from ever happening again. You know, I have a theory I have with horses that 90%, maybe 99% of accidents that happen with horses should just be referred to as events that could have been avoided, because 9 times out of 10 they can be, you know. And if you've been around horses long enough, I think every day, like not every day, but we find oft times you'll look and you'll see something happen, you go, who knew that they would think to do that, those horses? Oh my gosh. And so we'll put a protocol in place again that will protect the horse from doing that. You know, I remember my nephew works for Toronto Fire, and he was telling me that every time they have a fatality in the fire department or a problem, I don't know, I think it was a fatality, they have a protocol where they redo that scenario. They set it up exactly like it was, where they weren't able to resolve this problem, and they work on it until they come up with some kind of a protocol that allows them to rescue somebody in a weird situation. So if they come across some weird situation, the whole fire department works on that, and they develop a protocol, often named in honor of the victim who died in that protocol, or in that fire situation. But it's a great thing, and I think it's a great thing to do with horses too. And again, most accidents, in my experience, that happen with horses should just be referred to as events that could have been avoided. And I'm sure that's what they're thinking right now at Metro Zoo, and I feel sorry for them, because whoever did it, if they reflect back and think they could have done something differently, I'm sure that will haunt them. But we learn from experience, and really the only tragedy is if we don't learn from the experience. Anyway, that's it for this week. Remember to thank your horse. We'll talk to you soon.